Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are doing well. Y'all come on in and get comfortable. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Tonight we're going to be talking about a case that's heavy on a lot of people's hearts, especially parents, especially anyone who's ever been on a cruise, and especially those who have ever loved a teenager who was just trying to live their life and have a good time. I'm sure there's many people have heard about this incident, and many that have not. Tonight we're gonna be talking about that case. It's heavy on a lot of people's hearts right now. We're talking about 18-year-old Anna Marie Kepner, the young cheerleader from Florida who was found unresponsive. And according to multiple news outlets, she was found hidden under a bed on the Carnival Horizon cruise ship. Yeah, so this really, is heartbreaking, and it caught my attention being that she's a teenager, you know, and the way she was found, and it's just a sad story. People go on vacation, a family vacation, you don't think anything like this will happen, and then it does. So it really caught my attention. Hey Lily, hey Liz, welcome in. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it's real horrible. She was only 18 years old, a young cheerleader. This case is really heartbreaking, it's confusing right now, it's very disturbing, and it also raises so many questions about family dynamics and cruise ship safety, about investigations at the sea. Oh, this young girl, 18-year-old, she was found unalived, hidden under a bed, allegedly. Yeah, it's very, very sad. Um, yeah, so, it raises questions, and um, yeah, so tonight we're going to go through the facts, the timeline, and everything else that I could find at the moment. And I don't know if you guys know that the step sibling is the suspect, allegedly. I hate when it does this, um, the the handle, when it shows the handle. I mean, most of you guys have, your name in the thing, but some don't, that I usually know you by. When it shows the hand. So yeah. So hey Tamik. So I just like to make sure. Hey, love by everyone. All right, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I don't know why he's doing that handle thing again. But anyway, so yeah, tonight I'm talking about the Anna Marie Kepner incident. She was an 18-year-old was found unalived on the Carnival Horizon cruise ship. She was Anna was only 18 years old. She was a high school senior. She was a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader. She was a girl who, according to friends and classmates, was bright, sweet, funny, athletic, and full of plans, like most 18-year-olds are, She was probably ready to graduate high school, figuring out her life, college, or actually, she was about to be going into the military. Um, Allegedly, some reports said that she was gonna sign up for the Marines. So she was very excited, like most teens are, finally about to finish high school, her last year, getting ready for all those fun events that are were gonna come, you know, prom, probably spirit week, all these great things, and then graduation. She had her whole life in front of her. Thank you for coming in, everybody. Please double tap the screen. Double tap the screen, guys. Yeah, so this wasn't a troubled teen. This wasn't someone living recklessly. This was a girl on a family cruise enjoying her vacation like any other teenager would. And for her life to end like this, for her to be found the way she was found, that's something that we're going to talk about with respect and honesty here. Chat, if you're just coming in, go ahead and drop a heart or a candle emoji for Anna. And let me know if you guys have heard of this story, or is this your first time hearing about it? Yeah, it's very sad. This really caught my eye, you know, because it's very sad. Liz's first time, Tamik's first time, Lily's first time. Oh, wow. And it's been all over. So I'm glad that I'm actually talking about it. It's sad to think she was only 18 years old, living her life on a cruise ship. Who would ever think that something like this would happen? Not me, and I'm sure not her either. It's sad. And like I said, I don't know if you guys heard me, but her step sibling is the suspect. He's a boy, you know? Um, yeah, so it's very sad. So Anna was found unalived aboard the Carnival Horizon and earlier this month. The ship returned to Miami and the FBI immediately took the jurisdiction because any serious incident on a US ship automatically becomes a FBI maritime case. Multiple news outlets reported that Anna's body was found under a bed in the cabin. Some reports said she was wrapped in a blanket. Some said life jackets were piled around her. We don't have the autopsy yet, but of course, I will be keeping up with this case, and anything I do find out, I will keep you guys updated, whether it's another live or, a short form video or a short. We'll see, depending on how much information gets updated. But I'll definitely let you guys know. And we don't have the exact cause or manner of the unaliving just yet. But what we do know, or what we do have, is a young girl found hidden on a cruise ship, and allegedly the suspect is her step sibling. Um, People were supposedly present in the room, and the family dynamic that was already complicated. Now, let me stop and ask you guys something. How do you think that somebody would end up under a bed on a cruise ship without anybody noticing? Why would anyone be hidden? And why has the case of the cause of the unaliving not been released yet? Those are the questions investigators and honestly the whole community, like myself, I'm asking, and I would love to know. You know, why haven't it been released? It's already what, the 20th, and there's no answers on exactly what happened yet. That sounds fishy. I don't know, but now let's talk about that FBI. Yeah, something's being covered up, definitely. But So right now the FBI they're reviewing the cabin key card entries. They're reviewing video footage, interviewing passengers and crew, and they're also analyzing the room, and they're collecting the DNA, fingerprints, and trace evidence. I guess they have to take it slowly to make sure that they are getting all the evidence. And you probably, video cam, video footage, the ins and outs of the room, anybody that was going in and out, and anybody that seemed to be suspicious, you know. The FBI has been extremely quiet, which actually means they're taking this very seriously. When they don't release much, it usually means they're protecting the integrity of the investigation. And another thing we also know is that no official cause of the unaliving is public. Toxicology isn't public, and no one has been officially charged yet. There's just speculation on who did it because of the family dynamics, actually. That family actually has been going through a lot behind the scenes, and it's just coming out little by little. But that doesn't mean no one is not being looked at, and that just brings us to the part everyone has been asking: who is the suspect? Who did it? Why? You know, is you're supposed to be having fun on a cruise ship. What would make somebody unalive somebody when you're supposed to be having fun? A cruise ship is so big. Even if you had like a little argument or something like that, you can't just leave, give each other space and, just go enjoy the cruise. I just don't get it, you know? That to me tells me that it was very personal, and then to hide the body, they definitely was scared of of them finding her, anybody finding her. They didn't want her to be found. So yeah, something's being covered up. They always keeping things tight-lipped. Yep, and then they come up with a story, then tell us whatever they want us to believe. Yep. So there's a lot of speculations, but because of the family dynamics, we're gonna talk about the step sibling. This is important. So I'm just gonna be very careful and very factual here. And of course, everything I say is alleged. According to the legal filings in family court case, not rumors, but actual court documents, the minor sibling, identified only as TH, has been labeled as a suspect in the FBI investigation. So let me repeat that. He has not been arrested, he has not been charged, but the FBI is reportedly investigating him. These details come from documents submitted in a custody dispute where the parents brought up that their child was being treated as a suspect. And let me say this: anytime a minor is listed in federal investigative paperwork like that, it's serious, very serious, you know? So now here is something even more intense. The stepmother, Chantel, reportedly invoked the Fifth Amendment in court, meaning she declined to answer questions because her answers could be self incriminating. Now, that doesn't automatically mean guilt, but it does tell you there is more going on behind the scenes. Can you just imagine that? The stepmother invoked her Fifth Amendment rights. Can you imagine how the other parent feels about this, or the parents alone, because that's the stepmother. So can you imagine how the parents feel about this? Like, can you imagine what's going on in their households now? Like, there's a lot is gonna be uncovered. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be learning a lot about this in the upcoming weeks because it seems like this family had a lot of secrets, and I'm ready to know all the tea. Yeah, it's very devastating. So, do you think that the FBI would list someone, especially a minor, as a suspect if there wasn't strong reason? Usually they're that I what I know, what I have seen, they usually keep everything tight-lipped when they don't have a strong suspect because they don't want any rumors or speculations. So for them to even let this out, they have to have something kind of concrete. I just whew, I could imagine everything that's going on in their house right now, you know, and just how did how did Anna's mother and father feel knowing, that not only did this happen to their daughter, but now the step sibling is a suspect allegedly. That has to be devastating for them, and I don't know, and I couldn't imagine how they are going on with their life daily, their dynamics. And for the stepmother and the father, is their relationship gonna last after this? I doubt it. Yes, this is very interesting with them looking at the stepmom. Yeah, the stepmom and the step siblings. So that's even sounds like it might have been, I don't know, probably something kind of jealousy between the siblings, some kind of jealousy between the siblings, and then maybe the stepmother helped cover it up. This is just I'm just speculating. This is nothing concrete, so I'm just saying my opinions. But that's what it sounds like to me. The step sibling has something to do with it. He got scared. His mom might have noticed might have noticed something or might have walked in on something and try to help him cover it up, maybe. What you guys think? That's horrible if the stepmother has something to do with it. I think she just wanted to get rid of the daughter to have the dad's attention and love to herself. That could be it too. I didn't think about that, but being that the step sibling is also being looked at, it could either be that or it could be that he did something and the mom, his mom is helping cover it up. I'm sure they're looking at all the angles. I'm sure they're looking at all the angles. But yeah. So this is where the story gets even more complicated. This family has had tension. There have been custody issues. There have been disputes and disagreements that spilled over into court. There were also reports of strange behavior in the hours before Anna was found, including people entering and leaving the cabin, claims about Anna being intoxicated, but that is not confirmed, the step sibling being one of the last people seen with her, and also inconsistencies in accounts of what happened, about where certain people were. So now let me be clear, super clear. None of these are confirmed as the cause of death, but these details are what law enforcement is dissecting. So they are really
Mommy.
looking into this. Yes,
Yes, I love you.
I love you too. All right, go ahead, go eat the yogurt over there.
Now some spaghetti.
Spaghetti, boy, you already ate. Go over there, eat the yogurt. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So yeah, he left already. I'll tell him you say hi. um. So yeah. So these are details that law enforcement are dissecting, they're investigating, but the biggest red flag for many people is why was she hidden under the bed? Why was she covered by either whatever they said, blankets, life jackets, whatever it was? Why was she hidden? Obviously, we know the answer. Nobody they wanted to hide her. They didn't want her to be found. Maybe they thought that everybody would, um, what is it, disembark from the cruise and nobody would notice until, the cleanup crew. And then they think that they will be far away from the scene and not get caught. Who knows? But people don't accidentally just roll under a bed on a cruise ship. Beds are low to the floor, they're even bolted down. It takes intention to place somebody there. That's why so many people are asking, why was she hidden? Who hit her? Was someone trying to cover something up? Was this a panic? Did they just not know what to do and just, rolled her under there and just threw everything on top of her and kept it moving? you know? Or was the person scared and called somebody in to help them hide her body? Was this criminal? I'm sure, pretty sure it was criminal if they had to hide the body. If it was an accident, why not reach out to somebody? You know? If it was because of her allegedly being intoxicated, why would her body be hidden? This was definitely, in my opinion, criminal. So we don't know yet. We don't know everything yet, but what we do know is that the FBI is digging and they are digging for that information, and we should know things soon enough, you know? But why wasn't Anna immediately reported missing if family didn't see her? Cruise cabins are small. It's hard not to notice when somebody or someone goes missing. I mean, I know the cruise itself is big, and especially an 18-year-old, you're probably not keeping your eye on them as much as if it was somebody younger. You probably, since she was 18, letting her have her fun, but at the same time, you still want to know their whereabouts because anything can happen, obviously. And why was she hidden on the bed? Again, the biggest red flag, you know? Did she walk under the bed herself? Heck no. Very, very unlikely, And why aren't the parents on the same page? We have a mother who found out online. Yes, her mother found out online. We have a stepmother pleading the fifth. And we have a father caught in the middle. Not only does he have to grieve his daughter, but now he's caught in the middle. It's just this story is very, very sad. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Greatly appreciated. If you would like to donate to my channel, my Cash App is pinned. It's BXQUEENC, BX Queen C. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Yeah, that must definitely be hard for him, you know? But what happened in that cabin in the hours before she was found? That's another question we need the answers to. Was foul play involved, or was this a tragic accident? To me, because of the findings of how they found her, I don't think it was just an accident. I think foul play was definitely involved. And why has Carnival been so quiet? They usually release statements quickly. These questions are why people feel uneasy. This is why the case is gaining national attention. And this is why it also caught my eye because, people need to know what's going on. People need to be, like I said, it always comes down to mental health. Anything I talk about, for some reason, it always has the underlying issue of mental health issues, of how important it is to notice those red flags, to notice those changed behaviors in your children, because things like this can happen. If you're in a relationship, get married to somebody, that's not their parent, and then especially if children are involved, if they're not the only child anymore, sometimes jealousy does get in between of that step sibling relationship, and you can't just let it go. If you see arguments or things like that, or different behaviors, you have to take it serious, whether it's that you have to take them to counseling or talk to them, to let them know that they're still important and that nobody's going to take their place. You have to show them, you have to take care of their mental health. Yep, yep. That's why they didn't say his name, because he's a minor. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna go on StreamYard to show videos and stuff, but when you're a new content creator, you don't get a lot of you don't get a lot of views when you do StreamYard like that. So I've been wanting to do it like this first just to get the thing, but it seems like today's a slow day out there. I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, that's why they haven't released his like full name, because he's a minor and because he hasn't been um you know officially charged for anything yet. Yeah, this is so sad. So there was actually some court filings in a separate custody case that say that the 16-year-old step sibling, identified as TH, is being treated as a suspect. The alleged suspect, the step sibling, is reportedly living with a relative of his mother now for safety of the younger children, according to filings. And as I stated before, the stepmother, Chantel Hudson, in those filings invoked her right to not testify. So she's using her Fifth Amendment rights, because she was told her testimony could be prejud prejud pre prejudicial. You know what I'm trying to say? That word just caught my tongue. Prejudicial. Given the criminal investigation. I hate when I get tongue tied, and sometimes you guys get tongue tied with certain words. I hate that. But anyway, involving the child. So reports are saying that the step sibling have had exhibited disturbing behavior toward Anna, including an incident where he allegedly climbed on top of her while she was sleeping during a FaceTime call, according to the father of Anna's ex-boyfriend. So, and like I said before, this is all alleged, but wow, how disturbing is that? An incident that happened that he allegedly climbed on top of her while she was sleeping. Anna's biological mother says she learned of her daughter's death via an online report, and she had been estranged from the family's blended unit situation. So, what does it mean when a 16-year-old step sibling is now living with a relative instead of the immediate family? What does that mean? You guys, that to me, I'm sorry to say, but it seems like he had something to do with it, cuz why would they take him out of his house? Why wouldn't he still be in his home? Just why? Do you think that minors should be treated differently in such investigations? And because he is a minor, I just want to emphasize that he's being treated as a suspect, but that doesn't mean that I'm accusing him of anything. I'm just, talking how it is and what comes to my mind. Especially if he's old enough to talk up and say what happened. Yeah, that's, but I hope they're getting him some kind of help, because even if he's with a family member, you know, you never know his mental health state and, what he'll do. You don't know if he's feeling guilty or whatever. Who knows what he'll do to the next person? But, we mustn't lose sight of Anna, her life, her dreams, her family grieving. That's what really matters here. An 18-year-old that lost her life in such a disturbing way. Although we don't know the cause of what happened, but we do know how she was found. We might not know how it happened, but we know that she was hidden to not be found. Right? So, do you think that it was foul play? Do you think that it might have been accidental? Or do you think it's just too early to know? And I want to know, why was a minor, because he was only 16 years old, why was he being left alone with her? Especially if that incident about him allegedly climbing on top of her, why were they being left alone together to begin with? That's, to me, that's another valid question. Cruise rooms have cameras outside. Someone has to know something. Maybe accidental, and the mom is covering it up for the son. This scares me to go on a Carnival cruise now. Yeah, but this was family related. It wasn't even like it was a stranger. That's even more scary. And that's why I said mental health is very real and very important, Gotta pay attention to those red flags. Gotta pay attention to the behavior changes. If you notice jealousy, make sure that you're talking to these kids about it. Or maybe he did something to her and that's why the mom don't want to talk. Maybe. Maybe, but definitely cameras are always, around cruise ships. So someone has to know something. And I'm sure that the FBI already has that footage and they're just analyzing everything, because you can't just come out with speculation. You have to have concrete evidence. So where does this case go from here? We're still waiting on the official cause of death, the manner of death, the toxicology, DNA results, FBI forensic analysis, additional interviews, and also any potential charges. And we're going to be finding out soon who they're going to be charging, I'm pretty sure. FBI investigations, especially when minors are involved, they take time. So, I'm going to be patient, but I'm also going to be making sure that I check on updates, so I can make sure that I let you guys know the updates as soon as I receive them or see them. But I will say this does not look like a case that's going to be swept under the rug. You know? There's too many details, too many questions, too many inconsistency, too much inconsistency, and too many red flags. Too many. Um so that's all I have. I just wanted to, bring this story to you guys. This tragic story. Let's, prayers for the family, for Anna Marie's family. Anna Marie Kepner is her name. So let's send, prayers to her family. I know they're grieving, and then when family and, stepmother and stepbrothers are, in the mix, I know they have to be dealing with a lot. But, I hope Anna rests in peace. I hope that we get justice for Anna. You know, Anna was someone's child, someone's friend, someone's baby, someone with dreams, someone who deserved to come back home alive after having a wonderful vacation. You know, she was just living her life on a cruise ship, with her family. This should not have happened. And I really hope that they're looking into, no matter what, they have to look into all the family members that were on the cruise ship with her, you know? And
I'm upside down.
and they also have to check out the crew, because you just never know. Although they're saying they have suspects, at this point, you never know. So I hope they are investigating everybody that they need to, you know? Whatever happened to her, whether it was an accident, foul play, negligence, or something else, she deserves truth. She deserves justice, and her family deserves answers. So, as I said before, this case is still developing, and I'll continue to follow it closely. We'll do updates anytime new information comes out. Yeah, so thank you everybody that came through tonight. If you're watching the replay, I hope you made it this far. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. If you would like to donate to the channel, my Cash App is pinned and it's also in my bio. Any donations are greatly appreciated. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. And thank you for caring enough to talk about this case with empathy and respect. And, make sure you like the live stream. Subscribe if you're new. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves. Lily, thanks for always being here. And everybody else that passed through, thank you. And anybody else that's gonna pass through, thank you. And I will see you in the next live. Happy Thursday.